suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.
been talking to myself for ages. Thank you. I've not been paying any attention to what I've been doing. So yeah, the new wand is, it works out the same as basically adding another 3 stacks of Touch of Despair. So you'll see in a minute how it's basically turned me into a greatsword when I play this single target build that I'm playing. It's like I'm playing Greatsword Dagger. I basically put somebody on the floor and they don't get back up. I just finish sorting my vape out and then I'll go for it. I'm glad somebody told me. I'd have been talking to myself for the next hour and would have been useless. Okay, let's go ruin somebody's day. It's mildly underwhelming. There was a group of people around here a minute ago. Yeah, getting the wand was huge. I don't think we expected to get that many Tevent drops, and definitely didn't expect to be lucky enough to get it. And my intent was always going to be to recommend that Cammy got the first dagger no matter what, just because he's able to play more actively than I am. I'd already stacked up 6,000 bait to start fishing for my Tevent, and it down a bit. So I was in a position where I was going to get ready to farm Tevent myself, but thankfully didn't have to. Has everyone gone? Aha. Oh no. Well, that was short-lived. No, this build is terrible for for anything other than trying to kill people 1v1. We'll go check out what the guild's doing at Saradoma while we wait. And we've got bosses coming up later as well. So I'm pretty sure that we're done for our mandatories for the day as a guild, but there will be people that turn up. But yeah, that build that I was running is very much just an all-in build that I've been using in Arena for messing about. So the premise of it is you get the dots up, sleep to guarantee the knockdown, and then the knockdown removes all defenses, and you can one-shot tanks, you can one-shot anybody. I'll show it in Arena in a bit when I've done. I've got so much to catch up on. I've got dungeons to run. I want to get my contracts back below cap, and I want to get my codexes sorted for the dungeon, so I'll go and do some of these dungeons solo and clean up some of these because I want to max out some more skills this week. So get in there with the build now. Oh, but this is about to get spicy real fast. Oh, hello boys. This only really goes one way. Didn't get Guardian up in time. It is noticeable. If I get onto the island, I'll be able to show you. I don't know why when I did that combo then I felt rushed for some reason, but I had nothing but space. I didn't need to do what I did. And I played that fight really bad, and I should have picked up 4 or 5 kills there. I've been messing with builds too much today that I don't know if I've got the right builds on a lot of the time. It seems alright. But we're probably dropping Fatal Stigma soon until tier 2. Don't get the same value from it, or don't need it as much to get the same value from it. And with the changes coming from Korea with the bow shield nerf, debating putting poison back in. But the only thing is, if I put poison back in, I kind of want to also run knife throwing for the healing reduction that Stigma brings. I mean, it's also, you can get it up on multiple people, so it's solid. But the main thing is being able to basically get knife throwing to stack the poison as high as possible while still being reasonably ranged before then getting the sleep off. I have a feeling these guys want to fight me. I mean, that was just dumb. If we survive this, I'll be amazed. It's not even for the update on knife throwing, it's purely because when we run poison, we need stacks. We need stacks of poison, and we need duration on poison for it to add a meaningful benefit to the build. But the only way to really stack poison quickly is through multiple hits. And because we're basing everything on a sleep combo, we don't really want to be stood there trying to melee people to get the stacks up. What we want to be able to do is have some form of instant stacking. So knife throwing, hitting multiple times at once is going to allow us to get like 5-10 stacks of poison before we sleep, so we can open with knife throwing. We can always step into knife throwing and then pop sleep and spread. Revert to Corrupted Magic Circle so that we can do it after the sleep for a little bit of safety. And that way then we've got our dots up. The Corrupted Magic Circle with the Rotten Swamp has a really interesting interaction with Tevent, so I'll show it on the dummies. It's part of something. I'm going to put a video together that goes through why it's so good. But essentially what'll happen is you'll do your normal combo, so you'll get a curse up or 2 stacks of curses up. You will sleep the target, spread with Karmic, and then you'll Rotten Swamp, or corrupted magic circle. Now, when you then curse explosion, because they're still in the circle, they will immediately get corrupted magic circle back on them, and it will also proc Tevent immediately, so you'll get the Tevent dot back on them. Oh no, Edmund. I mean, it's not going to happen, is it, mate? I mean, now it might. Well, that's embarrassing. This is really embarrassing. I can't focus on that second screen at the same time as target the right person, apparently. That's why. It's annoying. I need to do a breakdown on those targeting settings, because certain targeting settings screw with what you're trying to do. So because I was being attacked by the greatsword, it wouldn't switch target, or wouldn't let me switch target with tab through to the caster I was trying to shadow step to. Ah, giddy. Right. Now we're talking. Oh, this is just prime. Seven seconds. Oh, fuck. Taken. It's not nice to have me on feud list. I'm feeling slightly better. So hopefully I'm going to be streaming a lot more once I get over this sickness crap, whatever it is. I want to do a video actually, probably when I get back on Sunday night, on how the feud list and targeting works. Because I don't think a lot of people know how to set up a feud block and a interest list. But essentially, there's a way to set targeting up in this game that you never have to target me directly. If I'm in range of you, and you press and you spam, if you spam your CC button endlessly, and I walk into range of you, it will hit me with it. And it's a pain in the ass to deal with, but alas, that is something that needs to be dealt with. on my way. Why did the hell did the sleep not go off? It's mildly annoying. Strange. Anyway. And feuded. Get me off you. Get me off you. Oh, I'm so dead again. Ah, oh, this is fucking annoying when you're dealing with numbers in feud list. The blue boots are really hard to replace, and I'm not saying that facetiously or anything. They are genuinely really hard to replace because they are so good. The only real replacement for them are Reaper boots or Harvester boots, Shadow Harvester. So we're kind of delaying changes to builds based on what we find out from AGS. Ah, oh, that's why. What we find out from AGS in terms of the intended roadmap. Once we know whether we're getting 2-star dungeons or tier 2 or what's happening, then that's when I'll be making slight changes. The melee evasion set for tier 1 is just disgusting in terms of what we can actually get, which is why I'm not running it. But you can see the problem with Greatsword in general, coupled with feud list instant targeting, and the fact that I'm on people's feud list means that they don't physically have to target me. They can just spam skills and it will target me or anybody else on the feud list that's in range. It's fun no matter what though. Like, this is just fun PvP. Really enjoy it. Don't so much enjoy getting cycloned out of stealth. Tevent's Hunger. So anybody that walks in that circle gets Tevent Hunger. You thought I was 16? Jesus. To be 16 again. Yeah, we're not. We facilitate more than damage. Once we hit tier 2, that's when things change. So once we hit tier 2, we'll be looking at having builds with around 500 heavy attack. We can easily get 2,700 melee evasion while keeping decent ranged evasion at the same time. We sacrifice magic for that, but we should be able to theoretically heal through magic damage. Just take this jumper off. So The problem with my mic is it's my work mic that I'm using at the minute, and it's really hard to get it right to a point where you can hear me and where it doesn't pick up the fact that I'm breathing heavy because I'm sick. Okay. Finally actually here together. We follow Master Pity everywhere. And then we've got bosses. So we'll be going for the fight for the last chest, and hopefully we'll get there in time. But it's not likely. I'll keep trying to catch the mute button when I'm coughing. Okay. Guess it's an all or nothing play. Not sure if we're late. I don't think we are. Let's go take one for the team, see if we can catch them coming up. Huh. Curious. Not meant to be doing PvP, I'm meant to be catching up on all my PvE crap. Oh, okay. Oh, there it is, the last call for the treasure chest. Ah. Oh, that was a bad idea. What did they say? No, I've not added all the builds because I don't have like single builds. That's the thing I keep saying in all the comments to people. I legitimately don't have. How are we gonna get into Junbo if it's? I must have somebody there. Yeah, I don't have like a single build. People keep asking for a PvE build. I don't have a single PvE build. It changes depending on what fights I'm doing, what bosses I'm doing, when I'm doing them, and what groups I'm in. Because I can kind of show you the single target build. That almost feels mean. That doesn't though. I can do that too. He'll die to dots, and then nothing you can do about it. See you later. Hey, Dubek. I'm gonna play around with some people here as early until people turn up. That was ambitious. Get back. Get back. Get back. Boop. It's fun. Come back, Anthony. Told you I'm a great sword now. He'll be dead before he comes out of stealth. cheap. I think somebody saved him. So the idea is that he sits down and doesn't get back up. My stealth lasts longer than his because of buff duration, so he should come out before mine runs out. Oh, maybe not. I just missed a sleep and a curse. It's painful. I'm gonna die doing this. Oh, here we go. So I get double great sworded. Can't finish that guy off. Can do that though. So as mean as this is, the whole reason that I'm here is to stop people from killing this boss before the guild gets here. And hopefully get the boss to reset. Yep, sorted. We'll just try and not die to the great sword. I think I missed everything. Nah, this build's just a single target build. I'm just messing around getting kills because I can with it. This is still the build I use for PvP doubly. This is the build I'm going to have to switch to now that everybody rocks up, because I can't deal with the full guilds on my own. The one thing I have changed at the minute that I'm using on this build is I'm using this for area denial because everybody that walks through it gets cursed. Yeah, if you take Rotten Swamp, it lasts on the ground, and then anybody that walks through it will have a chance to proc Tevent Curse. So we keep it in an area like that to give some denial. So anyone that walks through now has a chance at getting that curse on them once they walk through and lose protection. Oh shit. That's mildly annoying. Like that's got Tevent, should get a proc Tevent Curse now. Oh, fair enough. I might die. Maybe not. Yuki! Come on, Yuki. Let's play. Oh, you're getting trucked by dots. Sorry, Yuki. If he dies, that'll be hilarious. I don't think there's enough duration left on this curse for him to die. That's cute. That's real cute. Show you my mind. And that's Tevent Curse still going and going and going. I think we've made it rageable. I'm gonna do a video on targeting. I'll read that comment properly in a minute, but I'm doing a video on targeting because it's in this game it's interesting to say the least. I thought Jumbo was PvP. Oh, it is PvP. It's not until you get down here, it's not. I think this one of the first times will be contested. I think I'm at the point at the minute where I kind of want to just cover some of the general topics like the targeting and feud system and stuff. So I'll get some videos put up for them, and it should help. I knew I'd die while I had to go upstairs. That's a pain. Ah well. Right, I can at least do my PvE shit that I need to do. Right, what was it we were saying? Sorry about targeting, wasn't it? So clicking is horrible. This game's got lots of targeting settings. So what you realistically want is you want to make sure you've got auto target with mouse over when attacking. So you don't actually have to click anybody. You just put your mouse over them and then use your skill, and it's going to target them. But also you want your priorities list set, so you want to get rid of attacking monsters, elite boss monsters, things like this, so that all you've got is hostile guild, feud players, hostile players, depending on your role as well, attacking players. And then I'll do it in a video properly, but there's ways that you can add people to, and it seems counterintuitive, but it's something that you'll kind of get used to as friends. My friends list. That's relationships. So you've got feud, interest, and blocked. So you want to get this set up for each of the guilds that you're fighting. And what you want to do is have your feud should be a priority target. So when I refer to being feuded by people, it means that they've got me on their feud list, and then their priority in their targeting will be feud players. So they'll have hostile guild turned off and they'll have feud players turned on. And basically what they'll do is, to counter me and the flex team, is they'll have our flex team on feud, and like you'll have great sword and shields in the back lines of the enemy, and they will just spam their CC button. So the second that we shadow step in and come out as stealth and a targetable, they instantly target us with skills. And it's something that you have to learn to play around, but it can be a bit of a pain. So a good feud list is huge for large scale, and also for things like world bosses and stuff. It's arguably one of the most important things that you can have in terms of like Riftstone PvP and Siege, where you know the guild you're going to be fighting, and you can literally go through. Did we get actually? Swords. So if I look at our hostile guilds, this is the reason why we've got a lot of, like, every guild on the server on hostile. So you can click onto Zenile, for example, and you can look for, so like their crossbow daggers would be on feud list for our greatsword daggers, because we would want them to shut them down as soon as they get within range, and you just add to feud. You go through this whole list. So peak performance is a tank. I'd put them on my block list. I don't do it because I don't have a need to go on specific targets. But for me, it's worthwhile to have like the bow ones on the feud list, and that's going to let me know where my targets are, or the people that I want to be aiming to set up the sleeps from. And then interest list is where you'd stick things like their healers or their shot callers, because you want to be able to see where they are. And the beauty of it is, on your minimap it will show you, or it will highlight those people. So it also gives you another overview on your minimap of where the enemy's position is, and it lets you track them. For this build and for the role that I play, having a feud list is borderline irrelevant. But for main ball and kind of your normal DPS, it's a big deal to have the right feud list set up. And the other way you could target as well is with setting up Astral Vision properly. And this will allow you to, again, put feuds, friends, hostile guilds. And what you can do is put auto Astral Vision onto 3 seconds, the range here, but you can also, there's a setting that will allow you to do Astral Vision on cursor, and it'll let you do it further away, and it'll let you spot people from really far away. To never target teammates, no. There's not a way to never target teammates. It's annoying, but what I have is, so I can always see my teammates next to my unit frame, and I've also got a button. One of my keybinds on the side of my mouse is set to deselect friendly target. So there's a couple of ways that you can deal with targeting people. Shortcuts, character. So cancel friendly target is a nice easy one. So I always cancel friendly target before I cast a heal or bless barrier or whatever that I'm trying to cast on myself. The other thing that you can do, if you don't mind having more keybinds, is you can assign use skill on self and assign them to all of your relevant skills. So you can have keybinds specifically to heal yourself or use bless barrier on yourself and stuff. I think one of the things that I've come to kind of realize from starting to make YouTube videos again and just put things out, because I had no intention on doing it originally, is that a lot of information is taken for granted. Like a lot of things that we know just from playing on career and stuff has been gatekept information that people haven't been made aware of. I don't think I realised how bad it was because I've been in my own little bubble of playing with Nixx, and obviously we've been prepping for this for a long time, and it seemed strange to me that people didn't know what we would consider basic kind of information. Also, the amount of misinformation around builds and stuff is driving me absolutely insane. It's more intentional than mouse over. I use the mouse over more often than not if I'm just kiting around to spread curses. So like if I'm outside of the ball and I'm looking at just trying to get a curse up, then I'll mouse over. But my sleep target is almost always completely intentional, because I want to make sure that I don't hit anybody that's already been slept. Like a staff player that's already been slept has a higher resist. So trying to re-sleep off that is just asking for trouble. And then again, I also don't want to sleep or try and sleep high evasion targets, because there's a decent chance that I'm going to miss. And if I miss my sleep, it puts me in a really bad spot. Yeah, it scales really well into tier 2. So tier 2 gives us access, and this isn't even the end of tier 2, this is just the start of tier 2. Once we get tier 2 items, it gives us access to a 2-set bonus that is a flat 20% damage buff to dots, and then it also gives us access to a shit ton of heavy attack options. We're able to easily get up to 500 heavy attack, which means that our dots are consistently popping as heavy. And then we've also got the 20% bonus on top of it. We've got Tevent on top of that. Tevent can heavy. So everything together, it really starts to come together. Tier 2 is where the build really kind of comes into its own. Avoid dagger, avoid staff, that have got their, or that have just popped their evasion skill. So one of the easiest targets is the actual healers. Now the problem with the healers are the second that you put a weaken on them and curse them, you are opening yourself up then to the fact that you've just given them a big shield. Don't know why I joined this party. I just want to dump this as quick as I can and get rid of these abyss points as soon as I can. It's also worth noting as well, like I pay attention to health numbers, because health numbers are a good indicator of how geared somebody is. So a good example will be anybody that's below sort of 11,000-12,000 health on a dagger build is unlikely to be geared enough to evade, which makes them a prime target. Yeah, that comes with time. It really does come with time. It takes a lot of getting used to. I think it also helps though that for us the way that we play anyway, is the sleeps of the engage. We don't get told when to do anything. We're constantly looking for opportunities and calling out where they are. So there are times, and as I do more content where you kind of get to hear the comms from us, you'll hear that Spree will call where we're looking or where we're going to, and where he's thinking about it, and that puts the flex in the right place. So they just need to be in the general vicinity even of where we're intending to engage, and then from there it's down to me, Cammy, or any of the other Wand Daggers to set up the sleep that we want and that we see as a good sleep, and they will always follow up on that. And we're always marked, so the people doing the sleep are always marked so that people can visually see where they're going and what they're doing. And we're just constantly communicating what the intent is. So when our crossbows have got spin ready and we've got sleep ready, then that's when we're looking for that engage. But a lot of it just comes with experience, and knowing kind of what you want to do and how you want to play it. Like, we've massively increased the size of our flex team. It was originally 6 of us, and we got a lot done with 6 of us, but we increased that, and now there's 12 from Nixx and there's 12 from Nixx as well. And there's a learning curve for everybody on trying to get onto the same page as we're on and play it the same way that we play it. Mana's only a problem if you let it be a problem. You can manage your mana. Half the problem of the build isn't the mana, it's the being alive to use the mana. Yeah, I think in terms of like world bosses, it's really hard to get good opportunities as Wand Dagger. It's really hard because of the volume of people. GVG, where it's 70v70, the amount of impact that you can have on Wand Dagger just scales phenomenally. You can literally turn an entire fight in an instant, and if you've got people that are competent and playing the build, so I think on the video that I did, the first video that I uploaded the other week, the PvP video, there's a clip in there of us against Synergy, where me and Cammy coordinate a sleep on 2 sides of their main ball, and it ends up with us grabbing their entire main ball and wiping them, because we sleep both sides of it and we get like almost complete coverage of them. That's something that you can't really do in world bosses or large scale. And siege is another element of the game as well. Siege is interesting just because of the terrain options. You're going to be fighting in the streets and being able to take high ground, low ground, jump up and down. Switch weapons. We've got the Aquarius daggers. Yeah, Aquarius daggers are huge, like phenomenally huge. They didn't used to be. It used to be bonus damage. It didn't used to be base damage. But the fact that it's base damage just means that it scales everything we have so much better. The only time that we replace them is in tier 2 when we get silent tracker, I think they're called. Oh god, jeez. How are you tagging faster than me? Best PvP DPS at the minute, in terms of what gets the most value and is the easiest, then it's probably bow staff, just because of how busted Flash Wave is, along with having access to Cyclone for CC and also having access to a shield whenever you get weakened that doesn't require any thought or input or kind of gameplay at all. It's definitely one of the easiest to get value from. In terms of in competitive PvP, it's also one of the more difficult builds to be effective on fully. Anybody can Flash Wave, but a lot of it comes down to timing as well. Crossbow and dagger has probably arguably the easiest time of getting kills, but at the same time it's a complete all-in build and you very rarely get in and out, and it requires gear. Other than those, I think things like staff dagger, bow dagger, both very, very, very strong, well-rounded builds that you can get extreme value from. Yeah, the shield will definitely die. Once we get the Korean patch, it's going to massively impact and allow us to run different builds. It's going to help crossbow to be able to use their toolkit again, and really get value from it. Yeah, crossbow's got insane APM. It's literally, there's always a button to press, and it can be a pain in the ass. What was this? I think crossbow dagger has the easiest all in, but has a much higher skill cap than staff bow, for example, in terms of getting true value out of the build, because you want to realistically be able to get an all in off on people and pick up 5, 10, 15 kills, whatever, and get out to do it again. You don't want to be constantly dying and respawning to come back. And it's getting that added value that's huge. And it's a lot more difficult to do that as opposed to when you're playing bow staff and you can sit off the back of your main ball and fire flash waves across the fight. I've played most of the builds to some degree, and staff bow is just an all-round great DPS for PvP and PvE. It's just got such a good toolkit. Buff duration on Wand. I think buff duration is a very good stat to have on the Wand. I don't have it on Tevent because it doesn't have it. But even without that, where's my buff duration? I think it's down here somewhere. I'm still at 53%. I'll put some example builds up on the quest log for single target and stuff. It's just the builds just change so much consistently depending on what I'm doing. That I've never had the same build for more than one fight. Like, it's very rare that I have the same build. I'm gonna be running some dungeons solo soon anyway. Well, I'd say I'll do some randoms first to get rid of some tokens. The reason my curse explosions deal more damage than yours is probably gear. It's probably gear and also skill setup. Like, unless you're in a guild that holds riftstones, you're not going to be sat at 490 skill damage boost like I am. Well, that's 490 with this buff, sorry, so it's not 490 at all. I'll let the buff run off and I'll show you. It's 270. And then because this is leveled to give me 220, it takes me to 490, and that's what's giving me this huge amount of damage. Coupled with the fact that I have what equates to 3 more stacks of Touch of Despair compared to anybody that doesn't have Tevent. And that's where the damage comes from. It's a lot of it's gear. My opinion from Wand and Dagger for someone that's going to start using it. Yeah, I know, right? 500 skill damage boost. It's disgusting. And thanks to buff duration, I can have that all the time. So my advice to anybody that was kind of looking to play this build is it's not a build that you can go full ego on. You're not going to be able to pick up the most kills. You're not going to be able to pick up the most assists. You're not going to be top kill on the server unless you're cheesing things and basically farming nighttime constantly to pick up easy kills. It's not going to happen because that's not the nature of the build. This build plays best for somebody that wants to play solo and just 1vx people for a laugh, or is in a competitive guild that can utilize the build. It needs the right setup to be used to its max. You can't just kind of throw a bunch of Wand Daggers together and think that they're going to blow everybody up like they used to. We took some huge nerfs, and until tier 2 we don't have the damage to go in and solo kill groups of people. I could show you my builds, but there would be very little point because this is this build that I've got now is just one that I threw together an hour ago. This one is a build I was using for Arena last night. Nothing special to it. It's still nothing that I would ever recommend to anybody. It's me messing about. And this is the build that most people have seen now from my videos. But this is an AoE build that I've been messing about and testing because everybody kept talking about using thunderclouds and how it's great, but it's just a pain in the ass. Collision resistance for small scale. So I think we're doing some testing as a guild at the minute on we're doing some testing on kind of collision resistance and things like that. But the reality is that evasion solves all problems. So you don't need collision resistance if you evade the collision. It's daft as it seems. So you can fix that in tier 2 in terms of dealing with that. But also, it's kind of a pain because I don't really have any content at the minute because nobody can test our riftstones and boonstones, so I can't show you how, positionally speaking, greatsword isn't an issue for me in small scale, because the way that it's played for us, because of communication and coordination, if I'm going to go in for a sleep and I'm expecting that I'm going to get picked up by a greatsword, or I'm expecting that a greatsword is going to be there to protect the backline, I have a tank with me. So a tank will pop devotion before I even go in, and then if I get stunned by a greatsword, they will never get their full combo off. they will get ripped away from me before they get their full combo off, and I will get the space that I need to get the combo, my sleep combo and damage off. So unlike world bosses where it's an issue and I can get shut down quite easily, when it comes to GVG and the real coordinated PvP, it's a non-factor. My positioning and my group's positioning will almost 100% of the time result in getting the engage that we want, unless we screw it up somehow. Tevent video, transferring with high bless stacks around 4k to start get taken away as soon as you trade the item. So when you use blessing, it will only use the required amount to take you to 100%. So for each trait that I added to the Tevent, it cost 450 blessing. So by having 4050, I made sure that I could full trait the weapon with just blue items. And that will be the same in tier 2. If you do that, you will be able to full trait tier 2 items using tier 1 traits, tier 1 epic traits, instead of needing to use tier 2 traits. And that's going to mean that what you can do is sell your desirable tier 2 traits instead of using them, and that's going to be where you make money. So understanding the blessing stacks is a system that's kind of hidden from a lot of people. Anybody that played BDO is familiar with fail stacking, and it's literally the same system, only better. It used to be that if you used your stack and it didn't succeed, you didn't lose the stack, like any blessing, but now, if you try and be smart and do it on a 70% chance, you'll use your blessing no matter what, and probably fail like I do. But yeah, the fact that it doesn't use all the blessing is why it's so significant. And like, once you've got your gear sorted, you'll find that you get stuff like this all the time. Like, people were commenting on the video on how I didn't include the cost of trait in the second wand. I didn't include the cost of it because getting heavy attack weapons or construct damage weapons and health regen weapons was so easy from farming that I didn't need to buy any. And I just got really lucky with wand drops. I got really lucky and really unlucky in the same sense. I got construct damage, I got health regen. I think I got 2 construct and 2 health regen in total, and only needed to use 2 construct, 1 health. And I bought a crit when it had already dropped in price. I want to do a proper video that explains. So what I'm looking to do, hopefully in the next kind of 2 or 3 weeks, before it gets too late for people, is get all of my items together that I need and do a video where I set up a couple of the items that will cover off. Huh? Where's he got that? I don't know. Yeah, and take people kind of through how I'm setting up these items for my build, because the reality is, with how prices are at the moment, like if I need a head, for example, and I want to craft something to put blessing on, to build on blessings, all I need to look at is where the cheapest traits are. So Visages of the Executioner has got reasonably cheap traits to unlock them. And if I was to go here, 105. So I would basically craft a Visage of the Executioner. I would unlock 3 crap traits on it, or cheap traits on it, and then I would use the blues to bless and stack on this helm, knowing that I can re-roll the trait using trait conversion once it maxes out and reset that trait to 1 with a new trait and keep blessing stacking. You don't need to use like expensive items or the same items that you use or anything. You use the cheapest item for each slot. You don't need to use it. You don't need to do it for your accessories, because you're not going to replace your accessories. Your accessories are going to stay the same. All you're looking to do it for is your weapons and your armor pieces. And again, for weapons, like if you've got so say you're using an Adentis greatsword at the minute, you don't need a second Adentis greatsword to build blessings on. you just go with something dirt cheap. So you look at where the cheapest traits are, and it's going to be Banshee, and you use Banshee. And you use the Banshee to build Blessing on, and that's the one that goes into your tier 2 weapon when you get it, rather than using the one that you've currently got. And then, oh shit, I'm going to miss this. And then you just, it's all about being effective and being efficient with your materials, with your resources that you've got. You don't need to throw money into this game. Like, I know people want to say that this game is paid to win, but it is by far one of the least predatory games that I've experienced. The fact that you can actively earn currency in game is huge. When you look at other games that have kind of pay to win elements, like BDO for example, you can't earn pearls in game. You can't sell items for pearls so that you can then buy things with it. So, like, just being aware of that and having a plan. So my plan is similar to what it was in Tier 1. In Tier 1, I knew that I was going to blessing stack my items. I knew that's how I was going to get my traits. So I sold my Tier 1 traits that were good. So for example, this ring, I crafted 2 of these. One was skill damage boost, and one that had, I think it was mana regen on it. I sold the trait of the skill damage boost for about 3,000 lucent at the time, and I used the mana regen one and built blessing stacks on it, and then I trait converted it. Yeah, so you basically you use the cheapest traits possible, because you don't care what the traits are on this item that you're blessing stacking on, that you want to get to 4,000 or more blessing on. You don't care about that. All you want to happen is at the end, you want 3 max traits, any trait, it's irrelevant of which one, so you want the 3 cheapest ones, and you want around 3,500 blessing on the item itself. That will take you to over 4,000 blessing when you transfer it. When you are blessing stacking, if you get unlucky and the 10% chance happens and you max a trait out, you can then, and I think a lot of people don't kind of know that you can do this, but when a trait is maxed, so on this, you can convert it. This will change, and if you have a trait in your bag, so say on this I had health regen in my bag, it would give me a guaranteed trait conversion option. It would take 25 conversion stones, and it would let me swap skill damage resist to health regen and revert it to level 1, which allows me to restack. And doing that is what's going to get you to the blessing stacks that you want. It's only massively important for Tevent or for Archboss weapons and for tier 2. Now the reason it's important for Archboss weapons, or it's less important for Archboss weapons now, because traits are so cheap. Like heavy attack traits like 200 lucent now, they're nowhere near as expensive as they were. But when it comes to tier 2, to get 100% upgrade chance on a tier 2 trait, you need the tier 2 trait. Now, given the opportunity, if you could prepare now and use tier 1 items that you farmed now and have 100% chance to trait that item, and sell a tier 2 heavy attack for 5,000 lucent, it's a no-brainer. You would sell the trait for 5,000 lucent and use the stockpiled stuff to trait your gear. So by planning in advance, you're setting yourself up to earn lucent so that you can buy items that you might need, or that you can facilitate gear progression that's a lot quicker than normal, or that's a lot quicker than people that are underprepared. And that's going to allow you to keep up with people that are just throwing money into the game, because people will just throw money into the game. But by planning, you can borderline prey on the whales. Well, it's not even borderline. You prey on the whales to feed you the lucent that you need to be able to progress your gear. Like, if we look at this, my sell history is 33,000 lucent on this character. And that's only this stuff that's, like, here. There's more than that. I've earned more than that since day one. And it's because I was selling stuff very early on, like Primal King braces for 1,000, Rubik's when they were up at 100, because I knew that what I needed to do initially was make money for when the prices dropped. But for people that are catching up in the game, it's arguably easier now to just kind of buy stuff that you need, because you can still make decent lucent. I mean, what was that? So I did arena games, got the silence bracer. I got it with skill damage resist. It sold for 260. Heroic trousers of the resistance dropped from a pouch, 220. Phantom wolf breeches dropped them on Sordoma Island, 400, and that was only a couple of days ago. So there's still lucent to be made. Selling stuff like this is just me recouping money from stuff that I've bought. Thanks for joining my TED talk. Anyway, that was a tangent that is definitely something that needs to go into a clip. The thing to remember as well is that we're on early access servers. We have higher pricing than full release servers, so our prices are still higher. So we're still earning more money than people are on full release servers because of the volume. Once the milestones catch up and the first sieges are out the way, the auction houses are merging, and we're all going to be on the same page. So having a plan to make money is going to be more important than ever coming into tier 2. But the same principle can be used throughout the progression in the game. In tier 2, you know that you've got an idea of what you need to do. You need to prep for the content so that you can exploit the ability to make money. And then when tier 2.5 comes out, or the accessories come out, and we get Talandra, again, that's when people are going to be upgrading all of their accessories. So you want to be in a position where you've got accessories ready to go with blessing stacks. It's basically abusing the pity system of trading cheap in a way that's going to benefit you. It might seem counterintuitive to start with, but if I sold everything that I used to prep my armors for tier 2, at this point in time I might make 5 or 10,000 lucent. If I sell tier 2 traits instead of using them when tier 2 comes out, I will easily make 10 times that. And 4,000 stack of blessing is for, it should be the same for tier 1 to tier 2. It shouldn't differ, but I will check it anyway. I need to check on career again before I fully commit to it. I can't remember if it's 450 or 900 a trait, but I'm pretty sure it's still 450 for tier 2 as well. And I think building blessing stacks gets a little bit easier if you need to do it later on tier 2 as well, because I think you get more. I think you get 80 instead of 40 a fail. Yeah, we don't need to stack blessings for a tier 1 jewelry at the moment, because we will keep it. So all you need is 2 weapons if you need 2 weapons, and 1 of each armor slot. What's likely to happen on the roadmap is we're not likely to get tier 2. We're likely to get 2-star dungeons. This will open up, if we do get this is based on career, if we get 2-star dungeons, what will happen is we will get access to the harder dungeons without the new set items in. So the new dungeons will drop things like Reaper Boots, Swirling Chest, things like that, but it won't drop the new sets until tier 2 is officially released with the tier 2 item sets. So if that's the case, there's going to be scope anyway to get prepped in advance. I don't have a 4K blessing weapon anymore. I did have. So it would not be feasible to have this weapon fully traded and 4,000 blessing left over on it, or this one fully traded and 4,000. I think that's got like nothing on it. Yeah, 28 blessing because it got used. I think this has actually got more, 110. Like all of these, like 40 blessing, 0, because the blessings have been used to max the traits. Like nothing. I think this ring's got some, yeah. That still needs health regen trading to help max health. 150, 40. So easy. Yep. So you use the blessing. So when you get to use a blue item on an epic for a trait, it will take 450 blessing and give you a 100% chance to upgrade that trait. I think I'm done for doing these. I need to do some contracts, and then I need to do some dungeons for Codex. No, so the reason that I didn't stack blessing on blues before transferring is because you only get 8 blessing on a blue using greens. What I did do though is made sure that whenever transferring a blue into an epic, it always had max traits, because you will get blessing stacks for each trait and level of trait that is unlocked on an item. So even if you say you get this weapon and you get Laquarius drop, and you know that you're going to transfer this into this because it's a no-brainer, it's an upgrade, you still want this to be full traded. But you could trait this with all kinds of rubbish. Like you could get the absolute cheapest traits and put it on these daggers just to get the blessings to make Laquarius cheaper. Like undead bonus damage will be 10 loosen each, mana regen will be 10 each. So you could just do that to max the weapon quickly. And it's also worth noting, because obviously that's not going to give you enough to full max an accessory, for example. So when most people get, it's like say a lot of people dropped this ring, and they dropped it with health regen. This is a prime example because it still has it on it. Lots of people would turn that into a lithograph and sell it because it's not the trait they need. Getting this is arguably better than getting buff duration or skill damage boost on the ring, because what that allows you to do is build blessing on this top trait, and allows you to get blessing stacks so that when you do get a buff duration or you do get a skill damage boost, you can then add that and use the blessing to max it, and it'll be a lot cheaper. So I used the health regen to stack, that's why it's maxed, to get enough stacks to get buff duration and skill damage boost fully done. I haven't actually checked for a long time what this is. I'm too lazy to do it because it was always expensive. It's still expensive, 489 for max health. So it's just a pain in the ass for me to change that trait. But yeah, so that's essentially what I did. I did the same with the dimensional band. I had a shit first trait, so I used the first trait to level it up. I got a skill damage boost. I sold the skill damage boost because that then facilitated me getting what I wanted in other pieces of gear. So although I needed skill damage boost on this ring, having the Lucent available allowed me to get other gear progressed quicker and fast and put me in a much better position. Better for solo farming. I'd probably say one staff's better for solo farming, just because it's chilled, easy. Sorry. If you re-roll a purple max trait into another one, it gives you how much blessing? If you re-roll a purple trait into another trait, you don't gain blessing. It resets the trait to 1, and that lets you then continue to build blessing through that now trait that now needs to be remaxed. It's a money sink, and ideally you just don't want the trait to go, but 10% is a pain in the ass. The game often likes it to progress for you, and it can be a bit of a pain. That's what I wanted to do actually. Yeah, I wanted to show you a couple of cool things about Tevent Wand, and then I might clip it for a video, but I'm going to do a video on it anyway. So, what are the first things about Tevent Wand? People don't know this. So, applying Curse has a 15% chance to apply Weaken Curse, which deals 35% of base damage over time, every second for 30 seconds. Our Touch of Despair is a similar base damage. It's 41 instead of 35%, but it's only 9 seconds. So it's 3 times the duration of this curse, which essentially makes it the same as having another 3 stacks of Touch of Despair. And that's the curse we get. I'll show you what I want to show you in a second, but fully blue trait, give only 1k blessing on purple and your stuff is full trait with so more blessings. Is because you just put so many blue on it? It's some blessing left. I don't get that question. I use Darkslayer daggers. 50 strength is not as strong as you think it is. It's not. The heavy attack chance doesn't scale high enough. I mean, if I was to get an extra 100 on where I'm at the minute, would look at going from around 23% to 27 or 28%, and we would give up a flat 25 base damage, and all of our dots scale off base damage. So all of our dots deal base damage plus. Everything that we do is base damage plus. So we need to get every little bit of extra damage we can. Now, the way that dots work as well is that the heavy attack isn't calculated per tick of the dot. So you could run at 27% heavy and karmic onto 20 people and not get a heavy attack, which means that your dot wouldn't heavy, and that dot's never going to heavy then until you refresh it and get another chance at it. So it's not as strong as it seems, but it's also a little bit easier for me to make that judgment call because I have access to extra heavy attack than other people do, because we've got Stone Guard and stuff as well, so it makes it a little bit easier. But it seems great, because if you were to look at it and say, well, actually, 10 heavy attack equates to 1%, so it's actually 33%, but that's not factoring in diminishing returns, and stats in this game diminish pretty heavily. So when you're factoring in diminishing returns, it's actually considerably lower than it seems on paper. Also, the Curse Explosion damage, again, you're looking at having a 27% chance to proc a heavy attack on it. So you would give up 25% base damage, which would increase your consistent Curse Explosion damage. On average, you would be doing consistently more damage per Curse Explosion for a chance to pick up a heavy attack. It is something that I played with originally. I had Darkslayer daggers, and then I switched. The damage is unfortunately so significant. Right. The wand's good for one Sword and Shield. Yeah. I wouldn't give it to them over Dagger Wand, but it's good for it just because of what it does. But anyway, back to showing you what I wanted to say about this. So the beauty of this is it procs off sleep, because it doesn't state anywhere that it needs to be a damaging curse. It can be any curse, so it can proc off sleep. Because it can proc off sleep, it can also proc off Minzrock's daggers, which gives an 8% chance to apply a curse. What this also means is that because it applies on sleep, when you... Oh, I've just broke the sleep, haven't I? When you spread it, karmic counts as a reapplication. So you can effectively get Tevent up by just popping sleep karmic. So you can see as well that the damage that it's doing is, what, 91, 92? It's going to take forever to clear these dots. So that was doing like 91, 92. If we stick just a regular curse up, you'll see that's annoying because that curse heavy attacked. That's a pain in the ass. Well, that defeats the entire purpose. Um, Let me try and get it to not heavy and show you. Can I not get Tevent to proc? Oh yeah, as you've seen, 15% can suck my dick. It's not 15%. This thing procs like it's going out of fashion. But look, 106, 154. So it's very similar to having the same damage of Touch of Despair, but it has triple the duration. So we count that in Curse Explosion as 3 lots of Touch of Despair. So to put that into perspective, we'll get. This is. I don't think I'm going to be able to get. Actually, I know what we'll do. Right, so we'll stack 3 curses, and I'll show you Curse Explosion with stacked. So that's stacked. There we go. It's hard to see the damage, I appreciate that. When I do the video of this, I will slow the footage down so you can see the damage numbers. But what I wanted to show you was what the actual Tevent does. So we'll spread asleep and we'll get it up. So if you look at the damage that just Tevent adds, and that gives you an idea. So the Tevent curse on its own is adding around 3,000, 4,000 without heavy, and it can heavy, as you can see, where it goes up to 166. So it's adding a substantial amount of damage to Curse Explosion. I probably can't give you a good example of this without being able to slow down footage though. Sorry, I know people hate it when I run backwards and forwards like that. It's worth noting as well that when we go into tier 2 we get a damage increase on Fatal Stigma because of daggers we use. But that was the other thing I wanted to show you as well about this, is why I've switched over to using Rotten Swamp instead of Decaying Touch, because Decaying Touch does more damage. It's the stronger dot. But the problem with that is for the combo you need to get it up before you Karmic. Otherwise you can't spread it, so you can't get the pressure that you need. So that delays our sleep combo, because realistically we need to get the dots up, then we need to sleep and spread, and it opens us up to potential issues. Now with this, because it stays on the floor, it can proc Tevent. Now if we Curse Explosion this and clear the dots, what will happen when it's on the floor is, I'll do it in a second quicker so that you can see it, because it remains on the floor, we clear Tevent, we clear Magic Circle, and it reapplies again. So effectively what it does is work similar to using the skill specialization where we retain our dots, but we're actually keeping the full burst damage and still keeping half of our dots. So if we get Tevent, we get it to spread, we clear it, because it's still on the floor, it pops straight back up. So now we've got a full duration Tevent dot back up, and it's counting as a reapply, so it has a chance to heavy again as well. And we had Magic Circle reapply as well. And this is huge for holding choke points. So like Grand Alon as a fight is great for it, or any kind of choke that you need to hold. So it lets you do some cool, interesting things. It's also nice to be able to just kite around and throw out dots and get essentially what is 5 stacks of Touch of Despair on a target. SNS Wand lacks damage compared to Dagger Wand, and the reason being is if you don't have Shadow Harvester 2 set or Wrathful Edge, your dots cannot crit. I think I admitted, don't think I said that in the video when I talked about dots, but for dots to be able to crit, you need a percentage crit damage modifier, otherwise they won't crit. So it will never have the same potential damage output. But that's not to say that it doesn't have damage output, because it definitely does. It has huge damage output. Something doesn't feel right. This is what I mean when I say, like, when people ask me for builds and stuff, I don't keep the same builds. Like, I just put skills there that I need. I like it. I think it's chill. I think it's really easy to play solo. In PvE, I think it's got one of the more relaxed, easy grinds. It can do some fun things. Is it the fastest? Is it the easiest? No. There are classes that can grind a lot faster, a lot easier. But for the amount of PvE grinding I do on my own, it's perfectly fine. I love it. And it's definitely up there with decent clear speed. It's reliable. You're not going to die unless you mess up. So, yeah, that's a good question. The way that the coding works, we did test it on this. The way that the coding works on the game is dots will only crit if your character has crit damage percentage modifier. If you don't have a crit damage percentage modifier, the dots will not crit no matter how high your crit rating is. And it's to do with the damage calculation on the dot and on the first application, because they're not dynamic and they don't update on a per tick basis. They don't have an individual crit rate. So when dots crit, all they do is add the percentage bonus damage to the dot. They don't actually crit in the same way other skills crit. I hate this random queue. No, Western. I've played pretty much every build in the game. I wasn't going to play Wand Dagger. It wasn't going to be the build I played. This wasn't the intent to play this build. But we needed Wand Daggers for a very specific reason. And I ended up loving it when I went back and played it again on career. And it's, yeah, it fits my playstyle perfectly for what I want. Who just left him behind? I don't think I've got anything. We'll do species damage, why not? There's some people that are making wand bow work as a DPS, yes. And god are they annoying. And it's because of flash wave. Yeah, the prices of getting Tevent is not something that you should really plan on getting. So when tier 2 comes out, there are decent options. Like Tevent fills a very unique kind of niche in terms of the build. You don't need Tevent. Like, it's not something that you need. Come on, what's cooldown on it? There we go. It's one of those kind of just nice to have things because it adds more to the build, but you don't need it by any stretch. The benefit that you get in tier 2 will outshadow Tevent. It's just, it will add extra damage. Yeah, I queue as DPS for this. I hate healing. But also because now we've got random dungeons, nobody can reject me. Although I do run Vampiric so that I can heal, basically, without healing. Why is that? I changed that. Didn't I? What? Oh, I didn't change that. I'm an idiot. Thanks, Ashley, because I took it from me. Right. Yeah, that's what I use now with Tevent at the minute. Rotten Swamp's disgusting. So we get to see if people can CC. Oh, you can block these, by the way, to get mana back. I can't be asked doing it myself. These mobs up here, if you take the instant sleep and the double hit to break out of sleep, you can solo them. You stack dots on them and then you curse explosion them. And you use karmic to spread the sleep. If you take the range on the sleep, it'll sleep both of them instantaneous and allow you to break it, so you don't have to wait on people being able to do it. I mean, we're probably going to need it because people aren't going to do what they need to do. You're really going to make me do it? You're really going to make me do it? Really going to make me do it? You'll see the DPS in a minute on the boss when I'm actually paying attention, but the DPS once you're geared it's not what people want to think it is. It's nowhere near as bad as people seem to think it is. Stun, stun, stun. No, no. I hate this place. I need to fucking change this back. What did I have there? This, this, this. I think that's about right. I mean, you can heal this place as DPS. You don't need a healer for any of the dungeons. You can heal all of these just through Vampiric with enough damage. Don't start the fight. Sleep chance is counted against the enemy's sleep resistance. So it's a calculation in addition to hit. So if you don't have enough hit, doesn't matter what your sleep chance is, you won't land it. If they've got evasion anyway. Wow. 100% sure I jumped then. I'm going to get frozen in place and they're going to fuck the mechanic. This is a PvE build I literally threw together to come into this dungeon. So there isn't really a rotation for Wand Dagger. It's more a priority system. You don't want to curse explode unless you've got all of your curses up, and you want them as close to max duration as possible. You want to keep your stealth buffs up. So you keep Touch of Despair up. In an ideal world, you want to refresh Touch of Despair into Decay and Touch, into Unlucky Cloak, or Unlucky Clock, sorry, while you've got Fighting Spirit and Enchanting Time up, and then your Curse Explosion, and then in your filler time you just want to be using your dagger skills. There's nothing special about them. It's a very loose priority system, you don't really need to care too much about it. I don't want to do Butcher's Canyon again. I really don't want to do it. Aquarius, crit, hit, and heavy attack, or hit, heavy, and buff duration, depending on what you get and what you need. Crit and buff duration are both interchangeable. Like, it's just whatever you get, or whatever's cheapest, or whatever's easiest to do. Right, half the team's asleep. Need to drop this to 3,900 before the reset. At least. I don't really want to do it any lower. And then I wanted to do my codex, but I think this one's done. Just Canyon? No, it's not. So what happens if you curse explosion with no damage? Or no curses up, sorry. Yeah, we got Tevent. That was a heavy attack. It's gonna be me. Please kill it. This one's gonna take forever. Shows how lazy I've been that I've not even bothered to do my codexes in these places. Oh, I've got fucking full inventory. The only part of dagger that makes the explosion damage bigger is shit is the poison stacks. But you should be able to get poison stacks to 20 relatively quick and effortless. You can blow up on your own. I don't want any near me. What are these? Elon Israel. I need to sort my inventory out. It's a mess. I'm that guy that's gathering herbs. Curse bomb damage. So you want sorry. You want to increase your skill damage boost. You can't push them off, you need to stun it. I'm dead. Oh, the annoying thing about that is I've unbound my ability to cancel form in the air, which is a pain. Which is pain. Oh. Here's an interesting one for you as well. Did you know that you can avoid fall damage by blocking? It's the fastest way to get down from somewhere, because it will make you fall like a rock. I can't help myself. Please, don't make me do it twice. You're really gonna make me fucking do it. Why does it always have to be me? Dagger Wand I chose because it's an assassin. And I played BDO for years, where I played Sorceress. And it has a lot of similar characteristics to that in GVG, in its role. and I wanted to. I was originally going to lead the flex team for Nixx, but I don't have the time to commit to it in the same way, so I'm just a member of it now instead. But I always wanted to be part of the flex team. I don't enjoy being part of the main ball. So I always knew that I wanted to play something that was going to be there. Originally, the plan was to run Greatsword Dagger. Oh, of course it's me. So, flex in games like this is referred to as a group of players that perform a specific role in GVG fights. So, our role is to create opportunities for the main ball. So, we either set up the engage for them, or we protect their flank, or we look for opportunities to gain value. So, for example, in Siege, if we can position ourselves between respawning enemies and our main ball and take an advantageous fight where we will get maybe a 2 or a 3 to 1 kill ratio, then that's going to allow our main ball to have an easier time in that fight. And that's essentially what we do, is we facilitate those situations. Go click on it. Oh, you've let him die. That was unkind. There was no need for that. He's going to be angry about that. I'd be angry about that. Plays pure alpha shot calls engages since he's outnumbered. We kind of need that right rigid structure to not just run in and feed. Yeah, so if you're playing off your shot caller, then I would talk to them about allowing you to help assist in the main setup of the engage with stealth. So you can go in ahead of his engage and set up a stealth sleep, and then you've got the comfort of knowing that the main ball's following up on that as well. No, I've fucked it. Oh no, I haven't. Yeah, I fucked it. I can survive that. I can solo this now. Okay, and now I'm the tank. Yeah, I think if you're in that position where you can't make the snap call on sleeps, you need to just be that 2-3 seconds ahead of your main ball and ahead of your shot caller, but on the same page. So if he calls that he wants to engage, so we use pings. They're all mine. I don't think I've got any guild pings to show you. Or for example, say we were fighting at Talus. Where's Talus? So when we fight at Talus here, we'll have pings and it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. And our main shot caller will call his intent to push towards one of those pings. If I'm playing to facilitate a main ball sleep, I know that he's pushing towards ping 6, for example, that's here. I will be ahead of him, and I will stealth ahead of him and get that sleep as the main ball gets there. Just being in stealth and getting that sleep is often enough to catch people off guard, and it can make the difference between being organised and disorganised. It's 3,900. No, it's not enough. It needs to go lower. Ah, the pain is that I'm away for 2 days. So I need to get everything into a position where I can not lose too much. I hate this. Getting annoying now. Increasingly annoying. Increasingly annoying. Oh, fuck off. Don't need. Don't need. Don't need. So if you read the description, what does it say? If the target is affected by the curse, damage over time increases the remaining damage over time from the user by 5% for every one, and the user touches the spare stacks. Deals the damage 2 times and removes the effects. So it deals the curse damage, the remaining curse damage, in a burst. Or am I keeping what items in storage? Which items do you mean? Do you mean these ones? Huh. That'll come in handy. Those, that. Aha. Here's an interesting thing for you that you might not know about. So if we dissolve blue items, no, I mean that's skill damage boost. I shouldn't really dissolve it, but I don't care. How much is skill damage boost selling for? $28, I guess. Let's find one that's not. Just because I regret it if I do it. Bet your chance all day. So, yeah, if we dissolve this, we get 10 rare powder. However, if we do this, and we add so dissolving 3 of them would have given us 3 powder. It will give us 30 powder, sorry. It'll now give us 60 as a base. Meh, magic. Double your powder. Is hit chance affects sleep chance? Yes, hit affects sleep, and why no dex on the build? Because dex is a really bad stat for us compared to the others. The breakpoint of 30, which is where we'd be able to get to, is rubbish. The bonus damage is rubbish, and dex itself affects max damage, not base damage. It gives us crit, which is meh, and the evasion we get from it is negligible. Wisdom, on the other hand, max manners are nice to have. Debuff duration is nice if you get it to 40. It gives the same max damage as dexterity, and it gives us mana regen and max mana as a stat, so it allows us to be less mana starved than we should be, but we're always going to have a shit mana pool anyway. Not a lot we can do about it. Oh, Death's Abyss. Yeah, so basically, as a rule, anything that can have skill damage boost should have skill damage boost, buff duration, and max health. There's very little wiggle room. Anything that can't have skill damage boost should have skill damage resist. So defensive, so braces, belt, offensive, and neck and rings. And this is defensive as well. Where are they? Oh. 70 perception is good. 60 perception is arguably the minimum you should be getting. I like to have the 40 strength for damage reduction, just because it helps with crossbows and shit. But the hit rate is the main thing. Or mastery curse duration, or the higher light based damage for better damage. I'd say you want to rush the extra second on curse, really. I had no idea these guys were going to rush this fight. Evasion is important. Evasion is very important. If you're running an evasion build, but it only becomes important when you can get it to a level that is higher than somebody's hit, because evasion only works once it's higher than the enemy's hit. So if you can never get your evasion higher than their hit, it will never facilitate anything, and it will be a dead stat. So evasion is something that you have to all in on, which is why you can't stack like 3 evasions. You can only really get 2. Yo. So my evasion numbers are... I'll show you when I swap build in a second. So if we look at what we're looking at here is ranged evasion, magic evasion on roll. And that's because I haven't maxed out the passive either, and I'm not buffed with food buffs. But these will be around. This will be at 2000. Guess we're doing this the death way, which is fine by me. It's faster. I haven't shifted F before. Just kill me already. Oh. Of course. What did I just miss? I don't know. What are they doing? What are they all doing? Probably Silius. Oh, are you fucking for real? Derp. Farm parchment from contracts. Buy skill books from here. and I also selectively leveled my skills. I didn't max everything. I upgraded a lot of the early books from green to blue, blue to purple. No idea what these guys are on about, trying to do, but whatever. What do I need to do in this place still? Have I not done all of these? Yeah, I've done this bit. That's fine. Oh yeah, the codex. I need to get around to doing this, I just can't be bothered. Be that guy that turns the boss away from people. Or that kills your tank. HP is the strongest defensive stat in the game at the minute. Oh, well, always will be. HP is the king of defensive stats. Effective health is huge. Realistically though, the build can be flexed to any items that will fit. There are ways to get more evasion, there are ways to get more hit, there are ways to do all manner of different things. It just comes down to making the best of what you have. These are just really good, and they're really cheap, and they're hard to kind of warrant replacing. I hate doing dungeons. Sucks ass. No, we're not doing Butcher's Canyon again. We're not doing it. Without the patience. I still fail stack, ready for tier 2. Oh. What have we got? Oh, this sucks. Ah! Pay attention and stop looking at the other screen. He's got Tevent. He's dead. Okay, no, he's not. We're tapped for mana. I can't do it for you, I've got no mana. Right. Now we kill the tank and then we win. No. Got him. Yeesh. Alright, I got distracted by a load of crap that's going on Discord as well. All the shit that's going on Discord. People saying that every guild on Talus is somehow working with us. It's interesting. It's a interesting proposition. I find it hard considering that we've got them all on hostile. Where am I on here? Am I looking at the bottom? Am I even on the fucking list? Hey, 117. You don't want to do it on blues because the stacks that you get are terrible. Using a green into a blue only gives like 8. It's not cost effective. Pretty sure there's a ton of comments I've not replied to. Share stats as the same as quest log. It is getting late now. Oh, I missed what we against. This is going to be the problem. And this is going to kill me. And they're going to cry that they don't get heals. That was interesting timing. Kill the fucking healer. Done. It counts towards the dot modifier for damager. I'll show you the skills after this, yeah? Thanks for breaking the sleep, appreciate it. Wasn't paying attention. I'm getting sick of this tank. I'm playing so bad right now, it's unreal. I hate Greatsword. No way we win this. So the whole basis of this build is to dot sleep. Use the sleep to guarantee the knockdown from ankle strike, extend the duration of the curse, and then pop the curse. And it does stupid damage. Dagger Wand does lots of things okay, it doesn't do too many things great. But I mean, when you think about it, like people say, oh, I don't want to just sleep bomb in PvP. What are your other options? You can just flash wave. I mean, that's always fun. You can just do the stun combo on Greatsword, that's always fun. You can just spin as crossbow, that's fun. Everything's kind of just got this one thing, gimmicky thing that it does. What am I knew there was something miss. It's the wrong build. Here we go. I don't know why I've got this. Because I'm not using it, am I? Am I? Oh no, it isn't. It is this build. Sorry. It is this build. But something's missing. Something's definitely missing. Was it that, or was it... Something's missing. It's not that. What's missing? You can heal, you can support and buff people. You can throw out dots and just do damage in general. I think the problem with Wand Dagger is it excels in organized groups. When it's solo, it's lackluster. In mass PvP because you get shut down so hard. Something's missing. I can't think what it is. I'm too tired. I've got 15 points and I shouldn't have 15 points. I guess I could take this and this. So I could take this, I guess. Yeah, it seems fine. Change ankle strike. Oh no, not that was for the PvE build. That was for that I did the dungeoners. This one's different. This build here is basically the one that I did the 55-second Gate of Infinity kill times with. It's basically the same build. Me and Shadow Escape don't get on well because I press buttons too much. And more often than not, I just teleport in and straight back out because I'm an idiot. If I got used to playing with it, then I could really see the value in it for kind of getting back out, but I'm terrible at playing with it. So everyone keeps asking the same question about if you're just going to blow the curses up anyway. People don't understand the way that Curse Explosion works. It does the remaining duration's worth of damage of all of your curses instantaneously in 2 hits. The longer the curses are, the more remaining damage are left on them. So the longer that you have those curses available, or the longer the duration remaining on the curses, the more damage you have available. You can all get the hell away from me. I was in stealth, what the fuck? I'm in the wrong build. 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 I can't change for 4 seconds. That's why I wasn't in stealth. Leave me alone, you can't kill me, I've got Blast Barrier up. No! Yeah, Curse Explosion is one. It doesn't give you a good like tooltip for it. It doesn't tell you what you need to know for how it works, but that's how it works. Are we moaning about healing yet? No. Okay. I'm getting fed up of being knocked about by this fucking tank. These guys are gonna have to carry me because I'm playing like shit. Are you fucking kidding me? How did he not die there? I don't understand. Oh my god. I did fuck all that game. Yeah, I knew someone was going to say something. Yeah. I just like its toolkit. I think Wand Dagger's got one of the more interesting toolkits. It's got a lot of synergy to it, and it's also one of the hardest things to, one of the hardest specs to play, or hardest builds to play, or at least to get value out of playing. Go to contracts while I wait. I'm going away in a couple of hours, so I really need to get things ready so that I don't lose out on too much. But I think maybe a bit. I'm already fucked for contracts. Cubic roll. Yeah, solo readers trash. The ballads are trash. Yep, Tevent dots also spread can also be part of Curse Explosion. It ticks for similar damage to a single stack of Touch of Despair. Touch of Despair? Touch of Corruption? What is it? Touch of Despair. So similar damage to a single stack, but it has 3 times the duration. So when you look at it from the Curse Explosion damage, it's the same as having another 3 stacks of Touch. So it basically takes you up to having 6 stacks of Touch. Oh, we're fucked. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. I think somebody asked before about a third weapon. I'm picking up Greatsword as a third weapon, and I'm going to mess about with Greatsword Wand as well, because it's fun. Right, so I just die instantly. Please kill the healer. Fucking so sucked at this point. That is the single reason why poison stack sucks right now, is the shield. I don't have the mana for this fight. No, I got stunned on the explosion, that sucks. Mana! Yeah, it's not. It's not only 5%. It's meant to be 15%, but it feels like like near 70%, not 100%, but closer to 70%. Oh, I know Hizzy. I didn't realize he was in the group. Eek. Eek Barbadookle. Come on. Alright, do we win this? That's the $1,000,000 question right now. I think we do. Not if I burst like that, we don't. That should do it. Smell like him. Where am I? I can't believe I just pressed. Oh, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Yeah, Tevent's made a huge difference in damage. Huge difference. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. That was, yeah, that was highlight of my day. Told you I'm tired. Too many things that I want to get done before I go away and not enough time. It's moderately annoying. Can you kill them? Because I can't see them. I'm going down to see family for my birthday tomorrow. You fuckers! Fake bandy again. So driving from Leeds in the UK to Wales tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon. And I'll be back Sunday night. And then we get to prep for Siege, which should be next week. What are 700,000 lucid payday? There's no way that she... Saved by Laquarius of all things. What I find interesting is how these guys managed to find and manage to queue into the same, on the same team every time. Just die. Nobody likes you anyway. Let's try. Take the kills where we can get them. Vampiric. Vampiric is where we get the health back on the builds. I'm not sure what the guild's recruiting, to be fair, at the minute. Probably Wand bow. I haven't tried them because I don't like anything that requires you to be melee to get value from. You're a dick. Nobody loves you and your mum is African. Whatever. I'm dead now. Give me the shield. So cheesy. You're so lucky. No, don't fucking kill him. I can't believe we just lost that. So throwing knife is something that I'm looking at when we add poison back in. Knife throw. When we add poison back in, it's something that I'm looking at adding back into the build. It's just where it goes is the problem. But yeah, it seems like the most logical way of quick stacking poison and also providing healing. But at the same time, once T2 hits, we want Stigma anyway because of the daggers. The thing with magic endurance as well is it's not huge. Reducing magic endurance doesn't impact us in the same way as it does other classes. We don't rely on crit. Fucking tangled hair. Speed this up a bit. Yeah. So 15% apparently appears to be closer to 70%. It's also applied by all of our curses, not just damaging curses, so it includes sleep, includes karmic when it spreads. It has a double chance to proc when you hit the double dot from the specialization on touch. If you put Rotten Swamp down, anybody that walks into it has the chance to apply to them as well. It basically, you can always count on it being there. It's not something you have to play around, it's just there. Tevent is love, Tevent is life. They're my mobs, bring them back here. I haven't finished with them. It's the temple one. Fuck, sorry. It's the temple one. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's good for anybody that uses Wand. Like, it's undeniably it's one of those weapons that if you use curses in your build and you use Curse Explosion, it's good. It's supplemental damage no matter how you play. But Wand Dagger just makes the most use of it. That's why we gave them as a guild. We always knew that they were going to Wand Daggers first. We didn't know exactly which Wand Daggers they were going to. Originally there was only 2 of us anyway, but I've been saying since day 1 we were going to get 2 drops on the first run. But now hopefully we get some more and the rest of the guys get theirs, and then we just spread dots together. Hi, Lubix. I don't know what the max damage of Curse Explosion is. All I know is that I one-shot a 17k tank with Curse Explosion. I say one-shot, it wasn't exactly a one-shot technically, but my Curse Explosion killed him. From there, 100%. We've had a big influx of Wand Daggers in the guild. I think we're now up to, between Nixx and Nixx, I think we're up to about 8 or 9. The party that we're looking at playing, but we haven't been able to get it set up properly, is a dedicated healer, a tank, a Wand Dagger, and 2 crossbows. Or 3 crossbows. 3? 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 3 crossbows. And then we're wanting 2 parties of that. But getting that isn't easy to do, so we're kind of just playing with what we've got. So the group that I run with at the minute has no healer, no tank, 3 Wand Daggers and 2 crossbows. Well, that's just purely because there's not a lot of activity going on at the minute that dictates or necessitates a huge amount of activity. Yeah, I think the big thing for us is that the nature of our damage is what hurts tanks the most, because of how it hits and because of the state that they're in when they get hit. Ooh, fun! I'm in my happy place. I think, Andre, I think Nixx.gg is it? Or I don't know, the fucking website's somewhere. I'm not sure if the detail. Yeah, it's Nixx.gg. I think the details are there for the Discord and stuff. I have no idea what they're doing, if they're recruiting, not recruiting, what's happening at the minute. Yeah, I can imagine not having calls in a language that you understand. Be a bit of a pain in the ass. Well, to be fair, I don't think you'd fare much better in Nixx because you understand what was being said. It just doesn't make sense a lot of the time. But yeah, we're definitely. I think healers in general are something that's always going to be needed. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're early access as well, so if it's early access that you're not wanting to be around, then that's not gonna work for you. All servers will be merged soon. Calling it now. Well, that's an interesting statistic that I've just reached 100 messages today on the stream. Ironically, all from YouTube. I had no idea that Restream did that. That's good to know. Although I do need to go to sleep soon or I'm going to get told off. So I've got to make the drive tomorrow morning. Yeah. SNS Wand would have the same one-shot potential with Curse Explosion? No. Oh, thanks. That's nice of you to do. I'll crash my game. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I deem weaken and sleep chance to be utterly useless as well. So the problem is that hit chance is calculated first, or this is my understanding. It might be wrong, but my understanding is that hit chance is calculated first before resistance. So the resistance only plays into the equation once the hit has been registered as either a hit or a miss. So if you miss, your sleep chance is irrelevant. If you hit, then it does a resistance check. And if people are running sleep resistance, then you're going to need to run enough sleep chance to bypass that, and it's just not worth doing it. No, hit food all day long. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of it. So the reason that we get resists and the reason we get misses is a lot less to do with our hit rating and a lot more to do with other people's toolkit. also, sleep isn't 100%. Which one is it? And karmic is only 80%. Yeah, you don't target the evasion players. But wands are your best bet. 1k evasions, small numbers. Like people that are geared should be close to 2k or above evasion if they're running ranged and magic. Once they're buffed. But basically sleeping a dagger user or trying to chain your combo off a dagger user or a staff is kind of wasted. But wand is your best bet. Yes, you give them the shield for the weaken, but they were going to get that from the karmic spread anyway. The main thing is that you want to aim for endurance stacked people. Endurance stacked people are where you get your best sleeps off. You want to look for it's easier in GVG because you can find easy targets and you can put them on your feud list. So you want to look for people that have relatively low health because it indicates low gear. And oh shit, you want to go for endurance stacked people, not evasion stacked people. So the more you fight the same people, the easier it is to get used to it. 70 perception's good, just because of the extra hit more than anything, but the CC chance helps bypass anybody that is running a precarious trait. But 60 perception's where you want to get to. You don't need to get to 70. It just feels better. Maybe that's a coping mechanism more than anything though. I run ranged and magic evasion in large scale because that's what we deal with most, and that ties into what the hardest matchup in PvP is, and it is a great sword because you have no counterplay to them. So unless you can get the sleep off and kill them in the sleep, they will kill you. And the problem with that is that there is a CC break in the game. They can use their CC break on your one major CC, which is your sleep. If you CC break their stun, they just restun you. So unless you're running ankle break and can get a bind and ground them off the CC, you have no follow-up until that CC is down. So you can live for a while with Blessed Barrier and you can survive and you can heal, but ultimately you will die at some point. So if you see a greatsword, stay away. The only two pieces of Shadow Harvest that are worth getting are the boots and the gloves. And the boots you are not getting. There is no guild in the world that is giving those boots from Tevent to any Wand Dagger before they give it to their crossbows or anybody else. If we get T2, if we get two star dungeons before tier 2 is released, then the boots will become farmable, at which case they are the best boots for the build. Running 2-piece would be ideal, because you get the range from the gloves as well. But you do sacrifice some health for it. It doesn't make a huge difference, but it makes a noticeable difference. Prick. Nah. I think I'll do these contracts and then go to sleep. I preferred the attack speed originally. That being said, in hindsight, it doesn't play as much of a role as it did. So, attack speed reduces the animation or the cast time, and we have small cast times on like the K and touch. So anything that helped speed that up and smooth out the transition felt good, and they were easy to get and treat. Yeah, SNS Wand isn't broken, not at all. It's good. It's not broken. The problem with SNS Wand is it's really tanky and it can heal itself, but that's all it can really do. It's not going to be played as a healer as like a tanky healer unless it's set up specifically for that, in which case it gives up on its tankiness. And to deal with SNS Wand, all you have to do is keep them under pressure so that they have to heal themselves, because if they're having to heal themselves, they're not pressuring you or doing anything else. So your magic users can easily keep them under pressure.